Hello coin collectors out there, welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. Here in front of you we have a set of 1970s United States quarters. We've got a 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 76, then slide it up, 77, 78, and 79. Today's video is going to focus on just one of these, and we'll talk about error coins from the other years in a separate video. But keep in mind that you are not going to find any Washington quarters from 1975. That's because in 1975 they started to make the bicentennial celebration coin to started being released the end of 1975 and then into 1976. And since we have just one in front of us right here, figured I'd give you a sneak peek of what the foreign coin will be for the end of the video. It's this one right here. This is a 1951 Canadian quarter. Now this quarter features on the obverse of it, it features George the Sixth. Now this George the Sixth coin will play kind of an integral part in the second error that we'll talk about in today's video. It's not the 1951, but it's 1941, and they have the same design to them. All right, so let's get into it. The error coin that we're going to be talking about for the 1970s, there is two of them. The first one is the thin error, so a 1970 quarter that was made on a dime blank, not a dime planchet, but a dime stock. So it had the same size as a United States quarter, but it was made of the thickness of a dime. And the second error that we're going to talk about is a 1970s proof quarter, which was actually struck on a 1941 Canadian quarter. So that one is very, very rare, very interesting, a lot more valuable than that 1970 thin quarter. So let's get back to that 1970 and we'll give you some more details on that. Now what's cool about the 1970 is that it's estimated that there are about 100,000 of these coins that were struck and released into circulation. So that's good news for coin collectors like us. It means that we have a chance of finding one of these in circulation. So how you'll be able to tell this coin apart from the other ones, you might be able to tell by just looking at it on its edge. So once you pull a coin out of a coin roll, if you're getting them from a bank, they'll probably be in a line like this. If you separate them, you might be able to notice that one is thinner than the other. Another way, the most definitive way is to tell it, is to weigh it. So a $quarter in this error should weigh about 5.7 grams. The 1970 thin quarters are going to weigh 4.2 grams. Now the dime normally weighs 2.3 grams, but if you stretched it out with the same thickness all the way to the diameter of a quarter, it would weigh 4.2 grams. So that's how people know that this coin right here, the stock of it was actually intended to be used for a dime. Now what happens there, it's kind of just the normal printing process, except instead of inserting the proper sheets that had the thickness on them before they got cut into planchets, they had the wrong one, so they just made an error there, and that didn't get detected until about 100,000 of these were produced. Now I'm looking on eBay right now for the recent sales. So if you want to look at that on eBay, go to ebay.com, then click on the advanced right next to the search button, then go down to sold listings. Now if you're looking for the 1970 thin quarter, it's important that you type in thin quarter coin. If you just go thin quarter on eBay, you'll get a lot of socks. The quarter length socks is what's going to come up the most. But we're looking for the 1970 thin quarter coin. And I can see one that recently sold for $31. It was graded by PNG. And the grading on it was extra fine 40. So it didn't quite get that uncirculated grading, but extra fine 40 is a decent grading, and it's selling for $31. Now in a ungraded condition, these can sell from $1 to $100, depending on the grade of the coin itself. Even if you haven't graded it, you can still sell it if it looks great on eBay without getting it formally graded. All right, now let's get into the next error. So the next error kind of combines these two coins right here. Now this one actually made it on the USA Today TV show, the USA Today newspaper, in which they talked about it. So this one, very rare. It's a unique 1970S proof quarter, so it's going to have that shinier, glossier finish to it that you would expect out of a proof coin. From the United States, was struck over a 1941 quarter from Canada. This mint error was originally discovered in a group of San Francisco proof errors that was auctioned by the state of California. There is a significant amount of detail on both sides showing the design of the Canadian quarter. This one is the most fascinating, intriguing proof mint errors to have ever been discovered. Now, what happened there? What must have happened was that someone took a Canadian quarter and just tossed it into the U.S. Quarter mint bin of the coins that were being produced. Now, interestingly, the decades are pretty far apart too. We're comparing a 1941 that was struck onto a 1970 that was struck onto a 1940. But that kind of leads us into a nice transition into talking about this coins. Oh, I don't think I actually mentioned what this was valued at. So this is valued at about $35,000. Now, there's only one ever known to have been made, so that's why the price is so high, and the error itself is pretty intriguing. Now let's officially transition into the foreign coin showcase, in which we'll talk about this Canadian coin. So the one I have in front of you is actually dated 1951, but has much of the same characteristics. It has the exact same characteristics that the 1941 quarter that was had been struck upon by the 1970 quarter. So 1941 and 1951, these are both going to be 80% silver. So these are going to have some value to them. They're going to have a weight of 5.83 grams. On the obverse of the coin, which is the side you're looking at right here, we feature a portrait in left profile of George VI. It's surrounded with the letters going around the outside, which translates to George VI, King and Emperor of India, by the grace of God. So there we see George VI. Now when we flip it over on this side right here, we see the old Canadian moose. Actually, it's a caribou. It's a caribou. It's accompanied with the face value and surrounded with the inscription Canada. Now, as far as the mintages for this coin go, I'll give you both the 1951 and the 1941. So the 1951 that I've got right here, there are 8,290,000 of these coins produced. In 1941, which had the error related to it, there are 6,654,000 of these two coins produced. All right, let's start to wrap it up. So the two errors that we focused on today were the 1970 quarter over a 1941 Canadian quarter. The other one we talked about was the 1970 thin quarter. The 1970 thin quarter, as we mentioned, is going to have a weight of 4.2 grams compared to your normal 5.7 grams. That thin quarter is going to be a lot more likely that you can come across that as well. All right, everyone, thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you're into coin collecting, please do check out some of these other videos on the channel. Have a great day, everyone, and best of luck coin collecting out there. Enjoy.